All right, so this one we're going to figure out the equation for each of the graphs that we see. So label each parabola using a different color. I'm going to go ahead and use a teal color for this one and a pink color for this one. Now the easiest way to identify them is going to be to look for their intercepts. So I know that in my teal colored graph I will have a y-intercept of -3. So that means that we're talking about, let me get my teal color here, this graph here, because it will have a y-intercept of -3. And then that means that this one will be the pink graph. So the next thing it asks you to do is to draw two vertical lines through the points of intersection down through the corresponding x values on the number lines. We're going to call these our boundary points. So that means do something like this. So wherever the intersection points are, we're just going to draw our boundary lines. Okay. Identify the x values for which our teal graph is less than or equal to our pink graph. So mark these values on the first number line. So we want to know, when is the teal graph below or equal to the pink graph? So that's going to be anywhere from here to here. So it's anywhere between our two intersection points. So between -3 and 1, and I'm using closed circles because I want to include those because I said less than or equal to. So that would be any of those points there. Now, what about the inequality? And I'm going to shade them again so we can see which we're looking at here. Teal graph is greater than the pink graph. So this time we want to know, when is the teal graph greater than the pink graph? So when is the teal graph above the pink graph? Well, that happens, let me use my pen here, from here and here. So anywhere from wherever our intersection points are and above. So that would mean that it's anything from -3 but less than -3. Okay, it's all of these x values here and then all of these x values here. So everything from 1 to positive infinity. So we'll just kind of draw the arrow going this way. We want to use open circles because our inequality sign is just greater than. So we marked these solutions on our number line. So let's represent these now algebraically. So for the first graph, we would have everything, if we use our interval notation, we have everything between -3 and 1. If we use interval notation on the second one, it's everything from -infinity to -3, but not including -3, and then everything from 1 to positive infinity. Now you're going to use the same process on the next slide, but it just uses an actual Desmos graph. So do the best you can with it. We're kind of repeating this process, just using a graph instead.